And it's actually called simplifying method. Simplifying method. Here we go. For example, if I asked you to simplify the square root of 20. First of all, you want to look at it and say, is that a perfect square? Is there some number times some number that gives you 20? There is not. You know, you can find out what it's between. 4 times 4 is, there is a perfect square of 16, which is 4, and there's a perfect square of 25, which is 5. You know in reality this number has to be between 4 and 5 because it falls between those two perfect squares. But we don't know exactly what it is, but there is a way to simplify this. And this is what you must do. And please don't cut corners on this. The first thing you have to do actually is you need to prime factorize it. Prime factorize the square root. Okay? And don't cut these corners. You need to draw the square root sign. If I break down the square root of 20, square roots have what's called the, the product property of square roots. Product property of square roots just says that if you multiply 2 square roots together, you get the square root of whatever the product is. In other words, the square root of 20 is the square root of 2 times the square root of 10. Now, 2 is a prime number, so I can stop with that, but 10 can be broken down into the square root of 2 times the square root of 5. Okay, so if I break down the square root of 20, it ends up being the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 5. Those are all prime numbers. 2 times 2 is 4 times 5 is 20. That's step number 1. Now, step number 2 is you can cross off any pair, any identical pair, and be left with just the number under the radical. Maybe you'll understand this when I explain it. Maybe you won't. It doesn't matter. Just follow the rules. Too many what? I know. Your life must be tough. I'll let you write that down because Cameron said it will take a long time. Got them all down, did you? What that says is this. After you get done prime factorizing, you look at your group of numbers. If there's a matching identical pair, it's kind of like if you've ever done the memory game, what's that called, concentration? You pull up 2 and they're exactly alike. You can cross those both off and you're left with whatever number is underneath the radical. Now that only makes sense because what is, Manuel, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4, and that's a perfect square by virtue of it being identical, and the square root of 4 is 2. So you cross off those. If something doesn't cross off, it just stays and you remultiply or whatever. This is 2 square roots of 5. Because the square root of 5 didn't have a little pal to cross off with, didn't get picked, this whole number, and you don't put the times. 2 next to the square root of 5 means you have 2 square roots of 5. That's it, 2 times square root of 5. You write it like that. Okay, and then so step number 3 is after all the smoke clears, you need to re-multiply if you can. It's not a terribly difficult process, but it is very exciting. Let's try another. Let's say you've got the square root of 300. Hopefully by now you're getting at least decent at prime factorizing. It doesn't matter how you start. It is the square root of 2 times the square root of 150. Square root of 2 stays because it's prime, but 150 can be broken down into what? Square root of 2 times the square root of 75. Square root of 75 can be broken down into the square root of 5 times the square root of what? 15? Square root of 5 can stop, but the square root of 15 breaks down into the square root of 3 times the square root of 5. Once you get to that point, ladies and gentlemen, do you see some pairs there? Jane, shoot. Give me a pair.
5.
What's that? There are a pair of 5, so I cross off both of those 5 and I write a normal 5 down, because square root of 5 times square root of 5 is square root of 25, and square root of 25 is 5. Is there another pair there? Yes. Square root of 2 and the square root of 2. That gives me a normal 2. I am left with poor Mr. Square root of 3 who doesn't have a pal, buddy, or friend. He ends up staying square root of 3. Now you need to remultiply these numbers. It's actually 10 times the square root of 3. Now ask me where most kids start to cut corners. Well, for some reason, they don't think that they need to write all these square root signs down. They just prime factorize it without, and then blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, they usually make some sort of silly mistake, because at the end they forget what was square root and what wasn't, and then it just ends up being a whole big mess. So please don't cut the corners. You know, you'll find yourself much better off. How about this one? Let's do this. I'll let you do this one. Simplify the square root of 216. The square root of 216. See if you get the same thing I get. You know, if it's even numbers, I usually cut them in half just to get myself going. Although I know 4 goes into that number. Why? Because it ends with 2 digits that are divisible by 4. Square root of 216. Answers we have? Cameron Copeland?
I have 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 27.
2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 27. I'm not so sure that's a listed. Do you have 2 square roots of 2?
Yeah.
Would they cross out to give you normal 2 if that was the case?
Yeah.
Wait, did you?
I crossed them out and I put 2 times. I had 3 2s.
And that 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Oh, I'm gonna check this. Isabel?
4 times the square root of 13.
4 times.
4 square root of 13.
4, well, it'd be 4 times square root of 13. Let's look and see. So let's say we split this into what? Square root of 2 times the square root of 108. Square root of 108 is the square root of 2, I'd go times 54. Square root of 54, let's go 9 times 6 just to be daring. 9 can be broken down to the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, and 6 is the square root of 2 times the square root of 3. Alright, so I'm going to rewrite this just because I like to go the extra mile. I've got 1 square root of 2 here, another square root of 2 here, a third square root of 2 there, And then I have 3 square roots of 3. I guess I ran out of room. Anybody else get 3 2s and 3 3s square roots? Alright. Following the rules we talked about here, ladies and gentlemen, 2 identical square roots of 2 give you a normal 2. 3 identical square roots of 3 give me a normal 3. I then am left with a square root of 2 that didn't cross off with anything, and a square root of 3 that didn't cross off with anything. I multiply the normal numbers together, that gives me 6. I multiply the square roots together, and that gives me the square root of 6. It's 6 times the square root of 6. I probably didn't check. 6 square roots of 6. Stop me there if that was somewhat, what did you catch on to that? Remember, remultiplying is always important. The normal numbers get remultiplied, the square roots multiplied. Now, with that, we also need to jot this down, because it's good for you to have some idea what these numbers are. Write this down. The square root of 2 is approximately, the little squiggly equal sign, which isn't real, 1.41. 1.41. The square root of 3 is approximately, remember, these are what we call irrational numbers because in the real world, they don't ever work out as decimals. Okay, this is just a approximation. It's what it's close to. It's not exact, but it's close enough for government work, especially our government. 1.73. The square root of 5 is close to 2.24, and the square root of 10 is close to 3.16. Why is it good to know those? Well, simply because of this. If you end up with this as an answer, if you end up with 3 square roots of 5 as your answer, at least you should know what it's close to, because that probably means nothing to you. If I gave you 3 times the square root of $5, you're probably like, I have no idea what that is. Now, if you know the square root of 5 is close to 2.2 or whatever it is, now at least you know 3 of those. 3 times 2.2 is close to what? At least you know how much money you get, which is close to what, Keith?
6.
Yeah, at least you know it's 6, maybe $7 or something like that. So you have some. This doesn't mean much to you, but you can think about it as being close to that times that. How about that? Is that not exciting? All right, I am going to listen carefully.